Hello and welcome to the MES tool release highlights of fall 2025. MES Quality Commander version 8.3 has some new and interesting features for you. Work faster with leaner storage and accelerated imports. And get full transparency and control during the import process. Let me show you the differences between the old import of 8.2 and the new import of MQC 8.3. In the old import, the file system and Git repository were directly handled by the importer. API connectors were also downloading files that the importer then processed. All these files were stored in a local shadow repository. So your local hard drive, where either your node manager or your desktop client of MQC ran, had a copy of the files that came from a remote location. File readers then extract files from these imports, and we get our MQC project that contains all the data and findings. With MQC 8.3, we optimize this process. First, we removed the direct connection of the file system and Git repository to the importer, and instead created a unified interface for all connectors. The importer doesn't download the files and data anymore, but instead it just gets a list of all the remote contents, which means that it only gets meta information of the files that are existing, but not the content of the file itself. The files are then not stored in a local shadow repository, but instead they are extracted into a storage. And if the file already exists in the storage, we don't even need to call the file reader to extract something. We just take the existing result that we already exported before. When we find a file that we have never found before in our extraction storage, we load the file stream from the API or the remote location, like a Git repository, and extract the files only once. Afterwards, they are saved in the extraction storage and transferred to the MQC project. With this new feature, you don't have a local shadow repository where files are stored again and copied. The disk space is a lot less, the database is very lean, and the imports are a lot faster. Our second highlight is also for the import. We now have a lot better process for importing remote locations like the Git repository you see here. When we create a project, a dialog is shown that shows us the progress of the creation of a project. When importing data locations, here in this case Git, we first fetch the file information and then we start extracting. And I will pause it here, and you can see that we have 6 parallel threads that extract data that we don't have yet in our extraction storage. Here you can see directly what is happening. You see which file is currently being imported and extracted. And when we continue this, you can even see there are different steps that each file goes through. With this, you have a lot better control what exactly is happening at the moment. You can cancel this progress anytime, and you can even see files being downloaded if they are a lot bigger. And that's our new progress. So you can directly see, especially in very big projects, how long something takes. And all in all, the progress is not only transparent, cancelable, but also a lot faster than before. Now that the project is created, we can have a look at the configuration. Under the data locations dialog, we not only have the data location configuration that we now imported, but we also have file import patterns with 8.3, where we can define specific patterns for different behaviors of the import. So for example, we can specify that specific files should not be cached. Additionally, we have added new settings in the settings dialog for enabling and disabling the monitoring and specifying the monitoring interval. This is really useful if you, for example, don't want to have a local monitoring and want just the server-side refresh to keep your project up to date, or if you're fine with a larger interval and you don't want to be informed every 10 seconds if something new happens in the remote locations of your data. And there you have it, the release highlights of MQC 8.3. For more information, visit our website under model-engineers.com. Follow us on our socials, especially LinkedIn, and it was really nice to show you these new highlights. My name is David Friedrich, software engineer at MES, and see you next time.